everyone, Wade Curtis from Curtis Property Group here. Thanks for tuning in to our hot topic, debt reduction, mortgage debt reduction. Today I'm going to show you a specific strategy on how you can pay off your home loan faster. Just before we get started though, I just want to explain or define the difference between good and bad debts. Let's start with a good debt. A good debt would be, for example, an investment property. You borrow and go and purchase an investment property. All the interest repayments, the depreciation on the building, all your running expenses are tax deductible. So essentially we can offset all of those deductions against our taxable income. It's a growth appreciating asset with tax deductibility. That's why we class it as a good debt. A bad debt, for example, is a car loan. We go and purchase a car, we borrow money to buy it, and the interest repayments on the car are non-tax deductible to us. The car's definitely not an appreciating asset, it is a depreciating asset. So it's got no real financial benefit and it sucks a lot of our cash flow from our weekly income. The other one that comes to mind is a credit card. A lot of people book up their credit card and can't pay it off in the interest-free period, and then they get stuck paying 21% interest. Not a real smart financial decision, that one either. Now, the one that we're going to focus on today is our principal place of residence or our home debt. How we can actually reduce that. Now, that is somewhere in between a good and a bad debt. And let me explain why. Basically, it is a growth appreciating asset, so it grows in value, so it has a financial benefit for us, but on the downside, we can't claim any tax deductions against the interest repayments, depreciation on the building and so forth. So that's why we need to reduce our car loan debts, our credit cards and our home mortgage as quickly as we can, because it eats away at our net income and we need to invest for our financial future. So if we can reduce that faster, it gives us more disposable income to be able to invest. Let's get into it. Okay, we've got our own home. Let's assume that it's with CBA Bank for this scenario. Okay, let's say the debt that we have on it, or the loan that we're holding on our own home, is $400,000. Now let's assume that we're paying principal and interest repayments per month, and our repayments are going to be $2,000 per month. $2,000 per month. Now, most of us have a savings account, so where we store our money, unless you've adopted the old school mentality where we poke it under the mattress, but I think most people these days have a savings account. Let's do our savings account up here. Okay, now tell me if this is you. Most people that I come across have different accounts, sub-accounts to a savings account, and what happens is their income goes into here. Let's say, for example, John and Mary earn $8,000 per month clear net income. $8,000 per month. And what happens is some people have a holiday account, a school fee account, where money gets direct debited from their savings account and dispersed into these separate accounts. You might be paying account fees on all of these accounts, and we're not really earning any interest on the money that we're holding in our savings account. So it doesn't really have any great financial benefit to us apart from keeping our money nice and safe. Now this is the game changer. This is where it all changes, and we're just going to restructure or redirect where we put our money. You may or may not have heard, but we're going to open what we call an offset facility, or an offset account, we'll call it. Offset account. And we're going to say that's with CBA as well, because that's who our home loan's with. Now, all we're going to do is redirect the money from our savings account into the offset facility. Now why we do that is because this one doesn't really earn us any interest, and we're paying interest on our home loan. Now, as I said, the game changer is this account is directly linked to our mortgage or our home loan. So meaning if we redirect that $8,000 to our offset facility, it means that we would only be paying interest per month on $392,000. But obviously we've got to spend that money to live on, so that might be the question that you have. So we've redirected the money, we're going to close down our savings account because we're not going to get caught up in those fees, and this works exactly the same as a savings account. We have a debit card, we can put money in, we can take money out. The idea though is to leave as much money as you can in there because it's obviously connected to our debt, our mortgage, and it's going to be saving us interest on our loan. The interest on your loans are calculated daily. So the more money we hold in this account, the longer it has a financial benefit to us. Now, our mortgage is $2,000 a month. So that's obviously going to get paid fortnightly or monthly. So that is going to come out and it's going to pay our loan. So that is going to leave us $6,000 per month. $6,000 per month in the offset facility, working for our mortgage, because that's where our income is going to go each fortnight or weekly, however we get paid. Now, the next step to this, or the third cog to the wheel, is we need to get a credit card. And when we're looking for a credit card, we need to look for one with the maximum amount of interest-free days. And you can get them from 45 days, generally up to around 55 days interest-free. People say, oh, not credit cards, not credit cards. If you adopt this strategy, you need to have one to get the maximum financial benefit from it. So let's look for a credit card. 55 days interest-free credit card. And let's say the limit on the credit card is going to be $8,000 because John and Mary need to live. So they need to pay their bills, their running costs, insurances, etc. So that money we're going to put on our credit card. We're going to live on our credit card for 55 days interest-free. Each month we're going to live on our credit card. What that allows us to do is leave more money in our offset facility, which is working directly against our mortgage. So $4,000 a month comes out of here. We make sure we pay the credit card off in its entirety before the 55 days interest-free period. Otherwise, we're going to get hit with 21% interest payments. So we don't want that. So we need to make sure that we're paying it off in the right time frame so we don't get stung. Now, we spend $4,000 a month on our credit card, and then at the end of that period, when it needs to be paid, before we get charged interest on our purchases, we're going to take the money from our offset facility out of this $6,000. We're going to pay the credit card off in its entirety, so we don't get charged interest, and therefore we're going to start again. So then we live on our credit card again, our money or our income gets distributed into our offset facility, working harder against our mortgage, reducing that non-deductible debt faster. That's the big game changer. And the reality is banks don't want to tell us about this because they want you to take the maximum term of 25 to 30 years to pay off your mortgage. They're a profitable organisation and they don't sell you an offset facility when you get a mortgage, hence you probably haven't got one at the moment. So they want you to take 30 years. So we need to think outside the box and put something in place that's going to beat the banks. Now, for example, if we get tax returns, if you do have investment properties or other investments that you might get a $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 tax return each year, where would you put that money when you get it? Tax returns. That there, 10 or 20 grand or whatever you get, would go into that offset facility as well. Some people are entitled to bonuses. They might get paid an annual bonus or a quarterly bonus on performance. So a bonus, that money, store it in our offset facility. So at some point you might have $40,000, $50,000 sitting in that offset facility, meaning for that month we're only paying $350,000 on interest per month on our mortgage, not on $400,000. So that's giving us a really good saving, allowing us to pay more principal off the loan to reduce our debt, rather than the interest that just goes back to the bank. That's their cost for lending you the money. That is the big game changer. That's how it works, and that's how it can benefit you and reduce that home loan a lot faster and potentially save you tens and thousands of dollars in interest repayments just by restructuring or repositioning your money. I hope you got some good value out of that, but most importantly, you need to have a good finance broker on your team to be able to implement this type of strategy and advise you on that. So I suggest if you haven't got one, consult your mortgage broker, and they'll be able to help you and give you that right advice to be able to set it all up for you. That's it for me today, but thanks for listening. Follow us on Facebook, because we release educational material, and if you like our page, you'll be notified, or you get notifications on when we release our material. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.